Welcome back to Where is the Money? So it's been a lot going on in the economy in the last year or so. A lot of the working class people are finding it very difficult to survive in this economy, especially the way they're accustomed to living. Everything is going up. Cost of living is through the roof. Mortgage, interest, rent, utilities, everything is sky high. Meanwhile, they're looking around at the rich, and the rich seem to be unbothered. As a matter of fact, not only not bothered, but intentionally doing things to make it worse for those that are struggling in this economy, which is majority of us.
Y'all, do y'all know that the government and these rich people are actually laughing in our face right now? No, they're actually bullying us at this point. Because the fact that we're all silently struggling, it just blows my mind. And we're not doing anything. I keep seeing all these videos, everybody I can't afford my bills. I can't do this. Groceries. Okay, but what are we doing about it? Why are we talking about it and not? At this point, it's we scared because this is crazy. This is actually crazy. And the fact that we're silently doing this shit. A lot of people, everybody feeling it, but we're silently going through it. It's we just taking it, and it blows my mind. I think about this every day. I'm what is going on? We can't even live our life. We can't live our life because we can't go out and go have fun because we have to save our money to barely save though. We have to pay our bills or get food to get by, bro. Groceries are crazy. None of this makes sense to me. None of this makes sense. Y'all not... they really yeah, we're about to force y'all into starvation, and we're just yeah, let's go. We're gonna take that too. Bro, we as humans are really I'm starting to think it's really something wrong. Cause what? How do we get here?
So it's been a notion going around the internet, eat the rich, billionaires versus everyone, kind of opening up the dialogue of what it's like for the billionaires to the average working class person, and how it seems to be that they're not only sitting on a ridiculous amount of wealth these days and growing, but they're sabotaging the working class from having anything in this economy. How did we get here? I don't think it was by accident. I think there's been a lot of things over the last few years and maybe decades that has set things up the way it is right now. And it is no surprise that the wealth gap in the United States and across the world, but primarily the United States, what we're talking about, that is getting wider and wider and wider. I think ever since the 60s and 70s, it was relatively close, the wealth gap. But when we hit the 80s into the Industrial Revolution, everything skyrocketed as far as wealth of the 1% and the survival and income distribution of the working class. It's not because we're not working harder or becoming more productive. We got tools and things in place where we are definitely more productive, working 10-hour days, 8-hour days, 6 days a week, overtime, gig work, side jobs, all kinds of things to contribute to the economy to make more money, but it does not translate to our bank accounts after our expenses. And some would say blaming it on politics is not the answer. As a matter of fact, it's a distraction.
Look, I'm not going to weigh into politics because I don't believe there's any point. And I say there's no point because the narrative, what they want us to do is they want us to argue. We're Americans. And I don't know how else to say this other than it's not about red and blue. They want to make it sound like it's red versus blue, blue versus red, red state, blue state, red state. That's an illusion. That's to get you believing in something different than what the real problem is. Because the real problem is rich versus poor. The rich are taking it all. They're not taking some. They're taking it all. I mean, all you have to do, haven't you experienced that in the last few years? The rich corporations are trying to take it all. They want every last dollar. They're raising prices just because they can, just because they know you have no other choice. When you go to the grocery store, how many companies do you think are represented there? Because for about 90% of the grocery store, it's about four. It's about four companies. Yeah, for 90% of what's available at the supermarket, four companies. And guess what? Over the last few years, they've done nothing but double and triple your prices. But in the news, it's going to be red versus blue, blue state versus red state, Democrat versus Republican, blah, 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 blah. That's not who's taking it to you. It's not a Republican coming after me. It's not a Democrat coming after me. It's rich people coming after me. It's rich people taking everything you and I got. Everything. And the only thing they leave are crumbs. And that's what they want us to fight over. They want us to fight over the crumbs. So, despite everything going on over the next few months, just remember this. It's not about blue and red. They're going to constantly, in the news, who do you think the news is owned by? Rich people own the news. So yeah, they're going to push this red versus blue, blue versus red narrative. And it's got nothing to do with that. Absolutely nothing. It's all about the rich continuing to get all the benefits, all the tax benefits, all the money. And the rest of us fighting for the few crumbs left on the table.
Now, according to this individual, the rich people want it all. And he's making good points far as they're doubling prices, raising prices, not because they have to, it's because they can. And they can get away with it. And we've noticed they've been blaming it on the pandemic. And then after the pandemic, did prices go down? No. When the inflation kind of leveled out, did they lower the rates? Did they lower the prices? No. Now they're blaming it on the tariffs. And the tariffs is going to play a role to a degree, absolutely. But these companies have been using any trick, political change in the economy for them to capitalize on and make more money. That's what they do. And oftentimes, we are responsible for paying that extra bill. Because, as he said, you go into the grocery store, four companies represent 90% of the product. Hot Doritos here, you think you're getting Snicker bars over here. You think you're getting from another company, Reese's. All of these brands is all consolidated to one large brand that runs it all. So when they raise those prices on all of those products, it seems like it's uncontrollable. But is it really? Or is it intentional? Now, this next person goes a step further. They think being a billionaire, not a millionaire, but a billionaire, and still needing more money, more control, more say over people's lives, running them into the ground for them to get extra profits, that concept in their thinking is a mental illness.
And these motherfuckers want to start talking about locking people up that they deem mentally unfit. They should start with the fucking billionaires, because that shit right there, that's a mental illness. And it's more dangerous to all of us than any of the people that they're fucking talking about. Anybody that can hoard enough to feed a starving nation and continue to want more and more simultaneously is fucking mentally ill. If you knew all the people you could help, meanwhile you have enough money for 10,000 lifetimes, and you just continue to want more and more money and power, then you're a sick fuck. And normal people would have guilt over this shit. So what the fuck is wrong with you? That shit is a mental illness. We're just over here letting these fucking psychos dictate what's going on in our lives. Now, this is what happens when those people that have all the fucking power are the same people that lack self-awareness, empathy, and have no understanding of the life of the average person. And most of these fucks are Nepo babies anyway. And the only 1% destroying this country are the fucking billionaires. Tax the fucking rich.
Are the billionaires responsible for destroying this country? What hand did they play in all of their political PACs and all of the lobbyists for them to influence laws and restrictions based in favor of them and their business dealings? We know the corporations put big money behind their favorite candidate that's going to favor them and their business. So there is a lot of truth to this. But whatever side of the spectrum you fall on, you have to admit they have a lot of say and they want more money. And where you think they're getting that more money, they're getting it from us, whether we are willing participants or not. So tell me what you make of this dialogue. Put your comments below. Let's talk about it. This is Where is the Money? Talk to you soon.